Matthew's Gospel says that Jesus' mother Mary was a virgin. According to Matthew, this fulfilled a prophecy from the Old Testament, found in the book of Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 7 says this: "Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son and will call him Immanuel. God is with us."
When you read this prophecy in the Old Testament, it doesn't seem to be about the Messiah at all. It comes from the 8th century BC, and the point of the prophecy is that the Jewish nation is going to be devastated by the Assyrian Empire.
So why did Matthew apparently hijack it as a prophecy about Jesus? Was there something more in the prophecy than just what would happen in the 8th century BC?
In the Jewish world in Matthew's time, a teacher could quote one phrase from the Old Testament as a way of alluding to the wider passage where it was found. And this is what Matthew was doing here.
The verse that he quotes from Isaiah chapter 7 is part of a longer chunk that runs from chapter 7 to chapter 9.
This longer chunk goes beyond the destruction by Assyria to speak about a new age that God will bring about. This new age will be ruled by the Son who is to be born, who is called Immanuel, God with us.
The name Immanuel is mentioned twice in chapter 8, as well as in the verse Matthew quotes from chapter 7. Chapter 8, verse 8 says that the land of Judah belongs to Immanuel, and in verse 10, it points again to the meaning, God is with us.
Later, Jewish teachers understood this phrase, God with us, to have a deeper meaning, to point towards the future age of the promised deliverer, the Messiah.
So Matthew had this longer passage from Isaiah in view when he quoted from chapter 7 about the future child to be born, who would be God's deliverer. When you put his quotation in this wider context, it's clear that he wasn't hijacking it at all when he applied it to Jesus.
As we've said before, the accounts of Jesus' birth make better sense when we understand them in the light of the Old Testament background and the belief that God had spoken and acted in history.
If you'd like to think more about this, why not read Matthew's account of Jesus' birth? There's a link in the text with this video.